Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Once again, we have a very special guest. We talked to this guy earlier in the season, and he is Antoine Vaillant from Canada. You guys know Antoine. What's up, Antoine?
Nothing much. I'm good.
Okay.
Just happy to do another one with you.
So the last time we did one of these, I think it was a couple weeks out from Toronto, if I'm correct. It was before.
Yeah.
I know it was definitely before Toronto.
Yeah.
And you were putting up pictures. I knew you were going to do pretty well. I was happy to see you do as well as you did. I wasn't really surprised once I saw when you walked out there. I was like, this guy's in the mix, even before they had you in that first call out. So what was that experience like for you when you got that first call out and you're up there with, Juan Morel, who almost had won New York Pro the weekend before, and Cedric McMillan, who's an Arnold Classic champ. It was a good show. It was a real deep lineup, good quality.
Yeah.
You were right there in the mix with the best of them, for sure.
Yeah, thanks. And the best part of that was when I first walked out on stage. It was the opening round, the first judging round where you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And then I heard the crowd reaction.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I was like, this is why I bought. This makes all the dieting, all the weeks of dieting made sense that moment on stage, and I was like, overwhelmed with emotions, but like the good ones, like wow, like this is it. And then I knew I looked pretty good just from the crowd reaction and stuff. And then when I made first call, I was like, yeah, I was pretty happy because I think when you're in the first call out in the pro show, you're in the mix, like you said, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're up there. So I think I was happy with that. And I knew I was going against some big names. Like within 2 weeks, Juan said he was going to do it. Akeem said he was going to do it after New York.
Yeah.
And then Cedric said he was going to show up. And I was like, before those guys, I was like, who's going to be there? I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
And then all the guys showed up, and I got fourth, but that's fine. I got fourth behind, like, the best,
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Cedric. I love Cedric's physique. I think he's an incredible bodybuilder, but he was not in shape, and you were in shape. I would have had you ahead of Cedric. Pick one place.
Yeah, I heard that also, but he has a lot more mass than me, and he has like the presence on stage. And you know what's funny about that? He came by himself, like Toronto by himself with the hoodie on. I was like, wow, this guy's something else. And I talked to him a little bit. He said to me some nice things on stage and off stage. And then the funny thing is that he improves his conditioning a little bit, and then he beats Yuan, he beats all those guys and makes the top 10 in Olympia.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to show that the potential behind this guy is like...
Oh, yeah.
If he nails it, especially with Sean Roden that just won, I think Cedric could be one of the, who knows?
I think Cedric peeled to the bone, dry and all that. That's Mr. Olympia, as far as I'm concerned. Huh?
Yeah, I agree.
And, also, Akeem Williams had never, ever looked like that ever in his life. And
No.
you had to be standing next to him the one time he finally nailed his condition.
Oh, yeah, he was massive. Massive. I remember I was like backstage doing the tanning,
Yep.
And I was there, a little bit cold in the room, and I naked, getting my tan on. I was like not feeling like, and then I look on the tent there, I see Kim Williams was just jacked, full and jacked. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going against this guy.
Damn it.
I'm gonna stay in my tent, It was funny.
So you've only done before that 2 pro shows, and it was 5 years ago, right?
Oh yeah, if you want to count those shows.
We got to count them. I'm sorry, but so you had done Toronto and New York Pro in 2013.
New York first, and then Toronto.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, New York and Toronto.
Yeah.
So when you looked at pictures from this, obviously I know there were massive improvements. How would you describe the improvements between the 2013 version of Antoine we saw competing as a pro and what I saw in Toronto?
Back then, the main difference compared to now is that my life was not in control, and I was just before going that crazy downward spiral. So right after that, I kind of lost it. It was like, so I already lost control, and I was like, I couldn't even have a normal life, couldn't have a schedule, and I was like, I had a hard time just stopping using drugs and stuff. And so and then I signed to do the show. So I was like, shit, I can't pull out because you have a fine, you get banned. So I didn't even send an email. I could probably have pulled out, but I wasn't all there. So I guess I still did it, and I was like, horrible,
Yeah.
So that wasn't good.
Condition, obviously, the condition was like night and day, clearly,
Yeah.
from 2013 to 2018. Body part, flow, balance. I mean, where did you improve in? I mean, I should have, before this interview, I should have pulled up some pictures so I could have made some comments. But you've always had a very balanced, proportionate, symmetrical physique.
Yeah.
I don't remember any weak body parts on you back then either, really.
I think back and chest are always my weak points.
Okay. So
Yeah. So
brought
yeah.
those up significantly, I'm guessing, with the addition.
Yeah, the back improved a lot, especially when I'm really lean. The density comes out a little bit. But chest, if I go flat, I kind of go flat. The right here, like some guys like João Morel, just like his chest is right here.
Yeah.
My chest is like, I need to improve that, but it's okay. But the main difference is like really conditioning, and I'm this time around I had my life together, very strict with the dieting. I didn't miss 1 minute cardio. I didn't miss 1 gram of food. I didn't miss one training.
Wow.
So yeah.
What'd you weigh in at for Toronto? Do you know?
248.
Wow. Okay. And I remember immediately backstage. I don't know why I didn't interview you backstage. I should have, but you were already talking about I need to be bigger. I need to be bigger. I mean, body weight wise, if you had to put a weight to what you think you need to be blowing past most of these other guys, what would it be?
Actually, I actually have a goal in mind for that. I actually asked Juan, how much did you weigh on stage? He was 11 pounds heavier than me.
Wow.
So he was 259.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. So I was like, okay, so if I add 15 pounds of muscle, I can win.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Is it like, I don't know if it's science or not, but I mean, like, if I add 15 pounds of muscle and most of it can be like in my upper body there, and I'm as hard and with the same waist, and I think I can have a good shot. So the next step for me is like I'm gonna add at least 10 pounds of muscle, and once I do that, I think I can have a shot at winning a pro show.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's logical, I think.
Yeah. So you said you didn't do the New York Pro because you didn't think you were really ready for the caliber lineup. After Toronto, did you kind of regret that and think maybe I really should have done New York?
I didn't regret my decision.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, I don't want to do it because I wasn't sure if I wasn't ready condition wise, but
Okay.
I was ready 4 weeks out, I think, and almost. So I didn't do it. But looking back, I think a lot of guys were like kind of bloated.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the lighting or not. So maybe I could have placed higher than I thought I would have been.
Yeah. I mean, you
But
would have been fighting for a top 5 spot for sure in New York. Definitely.
yeah,
would have.
maybe.
Definitely
Maybe.
would have.
So that would have been good for that. So I don't know, but I think Toronto was my main thing.
There were other shows shortly after that. We had the Muscle Man show, Chad's show in Missouri. We had the Vancouver Pro show. I think they were all within a couple, 2-3 weeks after that, weren't they? From Toronto.
Yeah, Vancouver was 4 weeks. Tampa was like 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
Yeah. I'm curious why you didn't jump into one of those.
Because, for example, Akeem beat me. Cedric beat me. So I was thinking in my head, like, what if like just other bigger guys show up? Like, for example, Charles Griffin.
Yeah.
He pulled out Toronto and did the other one. I think he won.
Yeah, he did.
One of the shows there.
Yeah.
And I was like, the main difference between me and him and other guys like Akeem is like they're so huge, right?
Yeah.
So I think I would have made some points with conditioning and my lines, but I need more muscle. So me and Dorian, we said, you know what? Instead of trying to like get another top whatever and make, because you know what can happen? Look at Rafael Brando from Brazil.
Yeah.
He did really good, and then in Toronto he got 5th. He got lower.
Right.
So what if I would have got better? Then I would have ended my season with like a lower placing in 4th. I didn't want to really do that either.
Yeah. I mean, in his case, I'd seen him from the Arnold on. I'd seen him at a few shows up to and including Toronto, and he was fading. You could tell he's just
a little bit.
He did a lot of shows in a short time, and it was.
I think he was really good in New York. He should have placed higher there.
Yeah,
I think.
Good. He looked good at the Arnold, wasn't he? In the Arnold, I mean, kid's got a great physique, but you can't just do show after show after show. It takes a toll on the body.
Yeah.
Okay. How much time did you lose? Yeah, what else? Yeah, so basically the condition and everything was right on. Were you and Dorian both happy with how you peaked for Toronto?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And for next time, Dorian said that we could push the carbs a little bit more because the next morning my legs were way drier, and I drank water and I ate more food, and the muscle was pushing more in the skin, so I was a lot fuller and I even looked drier. But the skin of my butt was a little bit thicker from the water,
Okay.
so it's like, so I think we could have carved up a little bit more
Yeah.
for sure. Because if you look at some pictures of like my muscles can be really full, and but I think conditioning was more important for us this time around. I told Darren I really want to be shredded. That's what I wanted. Like even next time I want to even be more shredded.
That's the only place I saw where I would have liked to see a little more detail was the quads, the separation of the
Yeah,
quads, because
yeah. But if I would send you a video
yeah,
actually of like the day after in the hotel room, like it's not because it's a hotel I'm by myself. You can really see more freaking details everywhere.
I believe you.
And I was like, wow, that's insane. Because like when I'm training and stuff, and when I was like dieting, I would flex my quad. You would see the cross striations going up, and you would see even the details in the upper thighs, which I didn't have on stage.
Right. Yeah.
So sometimes I was like, wow, my legs look soft, but they're not soft. It's just
I
they
was
were
thinking the
fat.
same thing because I always check out all the guys going to the show, their Instagrams, everything for the
Yeah,
couple weeks, and I was like, wow, he's right on, bang on. This is exactly where it needs to be. And then
yeah,
I always think as soon as everyone comes out, I can tell what happened, what might have went wrong. He's flattened
yeah,
out, or the
mm,
glutes don't look like they look, the back blur.
yeah.
It's always something. Very
You know,
rarely.
you know what's funny also is because I stopped training legs like 6 or 7 days before the show.
Yeah.
And the day of the show, you flex them so hard,
Yeah.
you're sore at the end of the day, right?
Right.
So the next day, I think by doing that, they kind of like pulled everything in or something. They were like way drier. So I'm thinking maybe next time instead of not training legs like for 6, 7 days, I might do a little pump one like on Thursday or something. Maybe try that. I'll check with Dorian though, but I want to make my legs. I want to show my legs the way they really are because that's a strong point for me.
I mean, that's that. I think that might have. I don't know how close you and Cedric were. It had to be super, super close. I don't recall the score sheets, but that might have been enough to push you past him. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a great physique. I'm never going to take anything away from Cedric.
Cedric, yeah, is a monster.
Your posing, I was very impressed with. Very, I want to say like heroic, like almost like a superhero type of routine. With
Yeah.
some of the poses you came up with were really unique. Have you been working a lot more on your posing this year?
Um, you know what's funny with the posing? It's like next year I want to really work on it, but this year I kind of chose the song, which was the Avengers theme song.
Oh, there you go, superheroes.
Yeah, so superhero. So I kind of want to have something with like lots of like like pride and stuff and just heroic, like you said.
Yeah.
But the poses I just did poses that I felt I was comfortable with that I've been doing since I'm like 16-year-old, and I just kind of slapped them up together as the song went. I kind of like I didn't have a.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
That was improvised.
a little bit.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm a pro. I shouldn't be doing that, but I kind of did that.
You-
But next time I want to make something nice because Cedric McMillan had probably the best posing up there.
Yeah.
Seriously, he was like impressive the way he posed and stuff. He had like a presence.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys that reminds me of. I'm sure you've seen the old Pumping Iron many times. The way those guys moved, it was just so graceful and like I don't know,
Yeah.
like Ed Corney and Rob.
Yeah.
Brown. There was everything was real sweeping movements and everything. Cedric's a lot like that.
Yeah, true.
All you guys out there, you need to watch Cedric's routine to step your game up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do something nice for next time. I'm gonna practice. I wanna show on stage like the same effect that Cedric did. Like wow, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Because I was so like focused on just prepping and the food and stuff. I was like just getting out of my routine to just go and do a posing routine out of my day. I was like so tired. I was like fuck it. Like fuck that.
I never would have known that you made that up on the spot. So if that's how good you are with the routine that you're making up as you go along, when you actually put a routine together, I think it's been pretty awesome. And
Oh yeah.
if you do the Arnold
I think I
Classic,
can make something good.
if you do an Arnold Classic show,
Huh?
they judge the posing at the Arnold. So
Oh really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
it's the only those are the only IFBB shows where the posing round is actually judged, because Arnold wanted it that way, and Arnold gets what Arnold wants. So
Yeah,
he's on
true.
it.
That's good. Didn't know that.
I think, did I just see on one of your videos on YouTube that you just a couple months back, was it in September, you had 1 year sober?
Yeah, December 5th was my 1 year.
Was there something where it would have been sooner, but you grabbed the wrong chip at some meeting or something?
No. It's September 5th of not just the one before, but the one last year. I was supposed to get my 9 months. Then I went to a day party, a day rave event at Montreal in the island.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, but you got to go there with my friends sober.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I never tried to just drink and do a little bit of G, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I started partying a little bit. And I had a girlfriend back then. That's what saved me. I was like, once everything was done, I was like, I got to go back home. Because if I can't go out with the girls or the guys, because I got to go back home. It's like, it wouldn't be right for me to go out like that when I have a girlfriend. So I went back home, and then I called her, and then she was pissed. And then, my whole life was upside down just because I partied for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't use my drug of choice. I used, lighter stuff. Yeah. So I was like, oh, my God. So the next morning, instead of picking up my 9 months, I went and pick up my white beginner chip.
Yeah.
But I've been good, though. That day, it was crazy. It was like a true test. I was dancing, and it was like rain. Picture the scene. It was raining, pouring outside, big techno music. Oh, yeah. And then the girls were there, wet T-shirt, kissing each other. Yeah. Antoine, come over here. Come over here. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay here. Dancing by myself. I'm like, what situation am I in? Dude. But I didn't do anything bad because I was in a relationship. So I went back home. But even though I did that, I felt like the next morning, my whole life was weird. It's like I was going one way, and then I took a step this way.
Yeah.
I really felt I was off track. So I went back, good track.
Well, you're a stronger man than me, Antoine. I could not go near a rave. I know I'm an old dude now, but still, I can't go anywhere near anything like that. That'd be very, very bad news for me on many, many levels. So I don't know how you were able to stay strong like that.
Well, I didn't stay sober, so I didn't stay 100% strong.
Right, but
But it could have been worse. And the thing is, like I said, the really thing that scared me that day is that if I was single, I would have went out with the girls and the guys at Montreal. Then I would have went to an after hour, and then when everybody goes to sleep, I don't want to sleep. Right. I know how I am. I would have taken some pills there, and I would have been super awake. And then what if everybody goes away? Then in the street, I see somebody from my past walking by who maybe has the real shit that I want. Yeah. And then I lost it. Another month goes by, I lose everything. I don't do my videos, I don't do my posts, I lose contracts. And so I was I was a couple bad decisions away from being in the streets probably again.
To your credit, man, you didn't end up back in the streets. So
I didn't, because I had a girlfriend. Yeah. So I was kind of lucky that, I had a girlfriend, so I went back home. Because if I didn't, I was like, shit, I could have probably lost it.
I have to ask you, because it was all over the news that, Canada is experimenting with, I think it's across the board, legalization of cannabis, marijuana right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be in stores, anyone over 18, or I
didn't really follow the thing. I just know it's legal now. And I think the dispensaries that were already open, they got to close, so the government's taking over.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I think you're a perfect person to give your little opinion, your 2 cents. I want to know what you think about that.
I think for me, right now, I don't feel like it's a good thing for me to take anything that's psychoactive. Yeah. So I take CBD, which is the thing that's you don't feel it really. Right. It's just good for anti-inflammation and, anxiety, but you don't feel an instant gratification like if you would smoke weed. And for me, it's not. I'm not going to use it, and not in time soon. Because my program is just for today. I'm not going to use it today. But
I want a political statement from you. What about Canada as a whole? Do you think this is a good idea for your country, or a bad idea?
I think it is. I think it is because I think weed. The reason why weed was illegal in the first place? It's that dude back in the 40s in the U.S. He had paper mills. Then they discovered hemp, which made better paper, better clothes, better everything, and had this medicine. and the guy was like going out of business. So he paid the media to say that there's black people smoking marijuana and raping white women. Then they made the whole plant illegal, even the tree.
Yeah. And
So it's a conspiracy. That's why weed is illegal.
did you ever see that movie Reefer Madness, that old black and white movie?
No.
You just go on YouTube and just watch like a couple minutes. You will laugh your ass off.
Oh, really?
It was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
The biggest propaganda piece of all, one of the biggest of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because it's becoming legal bit by bit in the U.S., state by
Yeah,
state.
I think the first was Colorado. Is that true?
Yep. Colorado's first.
Yeah.
My state,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, legalized it last year.
Yeah.
At 29, I think it's legal for recreational use in 6 or 7 states, and it's legal for medical use in like 29 out of the 50 states.
Oh, that's good. And I think it's good because if you compare alcohol was illegal back in the 20s, came back legal, still kills a lot of people. You drink, you're drunk, you're an asshole. But the worst thing can happen if you smoke weed. People are on the couch and they're all lazy, or they're chill. I don't think weed is gonna cause any violent crime or things like that, especially now that it's legal. Like, nobody can grow it anymore. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's like the government's good. You can get it everywhere. So that's that. But the only thing that's bad is that in rehab, people don't understand that, is that weed is not, it's a weak drug, but it can do a lot of damage. Because in rehab, I was there, and a lot of young white kids, they smoke weed, and then the second time they smoke weed, they go schizophrenic. Yeah, young white guys.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're more prone to being schizophrenic if they smoke weed.
Wow.
But yeah, people who are black and native people, they smoke weed. They can handle it better.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's like people, like Irish people, can drink more. And then a lot of times Asians and natives don't have the enzyme to digest alcohol properly. So I think it's not for everybody, but yeah. So I've seen a guy, he smoked for second time he smoked weed, thought his mom was going to poison him, ran in the woods naked, woke up like a couple hours later, like didn't know where he was, and the little button that stuck in his head. He was like,
there had to be something else in that weed, Antoine. There had to be.
No, but the thing is that because it was illegal, you don't know where it came from, and you don't know what the hell they sprayed on it and shit like that.
That's true. But I mean, do you believe, you've been to rehab and you've been to meetings, do you believe it is a gateway drug to other drugs?
I think the gateway to drugs is not drugs itself. It's something inside of you.
Yeah, that makes
So for me, I tried weed. When I was younger, I didn't care about that. It's when I found like stimulants that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, I think if they're gonna end up being an addict, nothing is gonna kind of protect them really, because you don't realize you're an addict until you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
All my life revolves around using drugs. So a lot of people, they start and they use drugs, and they don't know they're gonna end up like that. No, all the guys in the street you see asking for money so they can go there, get their hit of something, their fix of something.
Yeah.
They didn't plan to be there.
No.
They didn't choose to be there.
Right.
Well, they kind of make bad decisions up to a point that they ended up there. So I don't think weed is like a gateway drug in that sense. And personally, I think alcohol is way more of a gateway drug, because on alcohol, it brings your inhibition down.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit about anything.
It's true. That's true.
You don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
So if a guy's for example, would snort cocaine, oh, I don't want to do cocaine at all, and then 2 beers in, where's the dealer?
Yep.
A lot of guys are like that. No, I'm not doing cocaine. I'm never going to do it again. Then once they're drunk, they're like, let's fuck it. Let's go get some strippers and cocaine.
Yeah. No, I bet if you could do a survey of all the bad decisions people have ever made, and you compared alcohol versus all the other drugs, I bet alcohol is like 85, 90% responsible for all that.
For sure. Like domestic violence ways on alcohol is like weed. People, they're too lazy to fight. They're just going to be there and just question the stuff and just be too chill.
I've never seen a guy high on weed start a fight for no reason. I've seen many drunk guys do that, though. Many.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
It's like it brings your inhibition down.
let's get out of the drug talk. Let's go into
Yeah.
one thing in one of your videos I thought was interesting is you love prep. You love the structure of it, the routine of it, which is rare. A lot of people just hate prep and they're miserable. You say you're actually more happy, more satisfied when you're dieting and prepping for a show. Is that right?
Yeah, well, and one thing I noticed is that the main difference is that right now, waking up early is a big effort for me. It's like I wake up, it's like, I'm just gonna go take another nap and stuff. I kind of have a hard time get going in the morning, but when I'm prepping, I'm like 6 a.m. I'm like ready to go.
Yeah.
And then I get my meals in. I get my tray at the same time. I even have an alarm on my phone every meal. Which time? Oh, beep beep beep. Meal 2. Then I go eat meal 2. And I have way more structure. I have way more a feeling of a purpose when I prep. Yeah. And it's more simple. It's harder to. It's not comfortable to live on prep, but it's more simple. Mm-hmm. And right now it's like more free time. It's like it's kind of the show is far away. It's more complicated in my head, but it's way more comfortable. It's not. It's like It's more. It's not really hard. Right now, what's hard actually is getting all the food in. It's like the opposite.
I bet. Yeah, I tell people that all the time. Is when they're bitching about prepping, especially if it's their first show. I said, you know what? The day after the show, and you're going to be like lost. You're going to be like, what do I do now? What am I going to eat? What do I do? Because you didn't have to worry.
Exactly.
You knew, okay, it's meal 1, I eat this. It's meal 2, I'm supposed to eat that. And then you take all that structure away, and it's a lot.
Funny story, like because during my prep, I would always be like, okay, Dorian, this and that. Always Dorian. Like he was a really good to me as a coach, really good coach. And the day after the show, I was like, Dorian, what do I do? Dorian was like, all my decisions I had to go by Dorian before, and now it's like, what am I supposed to do here? Yeah. So you're right that I was lost after the show, and took a couple weeks.
You did another video. You were talking about what's your YouTube channel? It's Antoine Vaillant, right? Just your name?
Antoine Vaillant.
Vaillant. Okay, everybody check it out. He's got the Antoine on the Couch series. That's the one that I really like. That's where you're.
Oh, the Couch Talks, huh?
Couch Talks are very
Yeah, actually, I have like another. See the brown bugs there?
Oh yeah.
That's another couch I got because I'm gonna put it in the back here. Put it in the back. I'm gonna have like a little microphone there, like a little podcast. I'm gonna have more talks on the phone there.
I mean, so open, so raw, so honest. You were talking about how you and your girlfriend broke up, and you talk about the life that you live as a pro bodybuilder getting ready for a show, and it has to be such a selfish life where it's all about you and your meals and your cardio and your training, and you really can't, if you want to be the best, you really have to be that self-centered.
Like during the prep, I succeeded all my training, succeeded all my diet, succeeded all the cardio, succeeded being very strict and listening to Dorian, succeeded all the stuff related to bodybuilding, but I failed my relationship.
Yeah.
So I was like, and then at first it made total sense for me to like walk away from it. And but then when I ate more carbs and I was like a month after the show, I was like, what the hell did I do there? I was like second guessing myself big time. So advice to everybody out there who's prepping, if I don't think it's the right time to make decisions about relationships, about quitting your job, about things like that. Give yourself a chance, be patient, and wait. And also what happened to me is that I lost touch with my emotions a little bit. Because it was easy for me to push them aside because when I was getting high, I was pushing them aside. When I was a kid, I wasn't sharing my emotions and I was, kind of violent. And I think when I was in prep, it was easy to push them aside. I'll deal with the emotions later. Yeah. It became very cold. And that's one thing I want to change next time I prep. Even if I'm single or not, I really want to be in touch with my emotions. I'm going to actually every day try to be conscious about it. I'm saying that now, but it's going to be way harder once all the products are in and you're like, lean and dieting and angry a little bit. But I really want to be like in touch with my emotions next time and make an effort to stay as much as possible grounded on reality because we really are in our own world when we're prepping. It's like all that matters is like the meals and this and that and the prep and the progress on Instagram and, and looking at other people. Like all my life revolved around that day. Every step I make in my house was like I'm doing steps, and those steps they're going towards my goal.
Right.
Every movement I did was like, is this going to make my show better? That was crazy.
Well, I think this is the hardest sport because of that aspect, because it's 24 hours a day. Everything you do, every little movement you make, everything you put in your mouth, everything you do has an impact on the way your body's going to look on this day that you're supposed to compete.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a pro tennis player, I'm sure there's a few hours out of the day where what you're doing is not affecting how well you're going to play tennis the next day.
Yeah. I wonder how Crosby is good with his diet there off the ice.
Oh, is this a hockey player you're talking about?
Yeah, hockey player, because he's a really good guy and I'm just wondering how those guys, when you have talent, you can't get away with eating shit, but you go on the ice, you're just talented there, it doesn't matter. But with bodybuilding, it's like everything you do outside the gym matters as much, if not more, than the gym itself.
So I see behind you the Redcon 1 poster of a flag.
Yeah.
And you got the Redcon 1 shirt on.
Yeah, and I got on the side here, the spread I did in MD before.
Oh, yeah.
Centerfold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good picture. Yeah.
So how did you end up with Redcon 1?
Aaron Segaman reached out to me after the show.
Yeah.
And I guess he saw my progress there, and I guess a lot of companies that were just waiting to see if I really was going to make my comeback, right? Mm. And Aaron went through a similar things like a decade ago or something, and so he kind of knew what it's like to come back and push through and overcome addiction and stuff. Yeah. So we had that in common. So we talked a little bit, and I didn't jump on it right away. I just wanted to relax and see what's out there. But then when I really thought about it, I was like, you know what? I think it's a good thing for me to be with Redcon, and it's going to be good for Redcon to be with me also. So I told Aaron, hey, let's do it. And then I'm really happy because the team behind Redcon is actually really cool in Florida there. I met everybody there. They're really, really nice, and they take care of the athletes. And I felt like, already at home and stuff, because that's one thing that was good with Universal before they switched everybody around, is that, the team was good. Eric Schwartz is still with Universal, but back then it was him, there was G Diesel and all those guys. And, Travis, Dirt Malone was there. So it was a really cool team. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to find that ever again, right?
Right.
And that was. Anyway, that's his own thing. That was unique. That's his own thing. But when I went with Redcon 1, I was like, oh, everybody's chill here. So I was like, this is cool then. I'm happy about my decision because I was getting along with everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty happy. Yeah.
I think they picked a good athlete, too. I mean, it's not just the physique. It's not just how well you place in shows. It's the person, and if you have an inspirational story, that you can reach that many more people with your association with the company, even better. Because
that's true.
You must be hearing from, especially even after the show, you must be hearing from so many people who are thanking you for inspiring them, motivating them, telling you their stories. Is a lot of that still been going on?
Yeah, actually. I help people every week online. They send me DMs on because they're struggling, or I send a lot of people to I don't know if it's a lot, but I send a good sum of people to like rehabs and stuff. I go to their cities, I find their rehabs for them, and I send them there, or I go on Google, put their city there, and I send them like links and addresses of meetings they could go, 12-step meetings. Wow. So I kind of help people out like that. So that's kind of like my way of giving back a little bit, because in recovery, what closes the loop is like giving back, because they say the only way you can keep what you got is by giving it away. So the only way I can keep my recovery is by giving it away. It closes the loop. Wow. And it makes sense, because you know what? If I wasn't bodybuilding, and if I was not able to help people like that, I would be like, why am I doing this? Right. Why am I staying sober? Right. If it was just for me, and there was if I had no goals or no bodybuilding, I'd be like, fuck that. I'm getting fucked up right now over there.
Yeah. Why not?
But with the purpose, because bodybuilding gives you a purpose, right? So, but with a purpose and with the fact that I can help the world, help make the world a better place, it motivates me it gives another reason why I should stay sober. It makes sense to stay sober and stay clean in recovery when I can actually have a positive impact in the world and I have a goal in mind. Because if you're fucked up right now, you're on drugs and you have no purpose, it's kind of like, why would you stop? So you got to find a reason why you want to stop. Like even in my darkest moments, I knew I wasn't going to stay there. I knew I was going to come back and be myself again. So I knew it was temporary from the start.
Cool. So now I saw you at the Olympia. I think you were a cheeseburger away from 300 pounds. So when did you start your official off season, trying to make more improvements and gain the size for next season?
I think after the Olympia.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Yeah, after the Olympia, and 292 this morning.
Nice.
I kind of started my diet for gaining weight, and I lost some weight at first.
Yeah.
And then I slowly gained back some weight. So I'm 292 in the morning, because like post show, you're like full, the skin is still thin, and you look way bigger. But that doesn't last, right? So you lose that. But now I'm gaining back some size, and I'm really training hard. Like all my leg workouts, I train them like similar to when I was 20-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, because what I do now is that I do high reps with heavy weight.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense when you first hear it. High reps.
Yeah. Well, for example, it's like if I'm gonna load up the power squat, I'm gonna put 9 plates aside, but I'm gonna try to bust 30 reps. I guess because I'm strong, I can do that on legs. But or for squats, for example, at the end of my workout, I put 2 plates and I try to get as maximum reps. So in Florida, I did 36. That's at the end of my workout. The 36 reps. Then I'm gonna beat myself. 37 reps, and this week I pushed so hard during the workout. I only did 20, so I did 18. But I'm trying to just pump him out to the max and do crazy things like that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it gets bored. You've been training since what? You're like 16?
I was 15. Now I'm like 31, so okay. 16.
It's been a minute.
16 years.
Okay. I want to give you just a couple questions that I didn't ask the readers for too many questions, the viewers, but my friend Goon wants to know. He's big into Norse mythology, Thor and all that, and Odin and whatnot. Where did you get your interest in all that from?
My interest in the Thor and things like that came from metal, power metal, and death metal, things like that.
Yeah.
And I just like the fact that there's this guy wielding a hammer, and with lightning and stuff. And it's just, for me, I just like the hammer of Thor as a symbol of power and overcoming and just being kicking ass and stuff. Because it comes from my metal head background, I guess.
Did you know a guy named Thor that was a heavy metal singer in the 80s? He was pretty muscular, big, long blonde hair.
I didn't.
Google him. It was a real thing.
I will Google him for sure, yeah.
He was in good shape. I don't think the music was that hot, but he looked...
Now the Thor that we know now is a 400-pound man called the Mountain, right?
Well, you also got the movie Thor too, the Marvel comic guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so AJ wants to know, do you have a side job apart from being a sponsored athlete and relying on contest placings money? Well, the contest placings money wouldn't take you too far because you've only done one. But is it the AV training that you do? Is that your side gig? Or
I do online training, and I'm gonna learn Shopify and things like that right now because I had a website before, but I'm gonna put it online again. But I do online training, and what I do right now is just on Instagram. People that DM me, they ask for training, so I have a price list and stuff, and we talk, and then I use the FitLog app. So fitlog.ca or the FitLog app, like FITLOG. FitLog.
Okay.
So it's actually a friend of mine, Khaled, who's a classic. You know Khaled?
Khaled, I had him on Ronline a couple months ago. Khaled Chikawi.
Yeah, exactly. He's the one behind the FitLog. He's a really good IT engineer, very smart, and he created this thing that's super good for trainers. All your clients are there. I use my computer and then I send the messages. I put the diet on there. You can put the training there too, supplements, even the protocols. You can put it on there. So it's really useful for that. And the clients have the apps on their phone, and they can just see the updates you do on their app. So instead of sending Excel documents or writing on notepad, and it's all on FitLog. So that's really really good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded. I looked at it a little while right before our interview when we talked, and it looks like it was pretty comprehensive. But
Yeah,
people can also email you at AntoineVaillant87@gmail.com.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, 87,
yeah,
probably the year you were born.
yeah.
Who did you have winning the Olympia? Rowley, Heath, or Roden?
The Olympia this year.
The Olympia this year, yeah.
You know what? I'm happy for Sean, but I think Phil should have won.
Okay. Yeah.
And because if you look, because I was there live, right?
Yep.
And I'm not a judge, so I'm not qualified to judge bodybuilding.
You're
But
a
for
fan.
my own,
You're a fan. You compete. You've been to a lot of shows.
I know. And the
You're
thing is
qualified to have
that
an opinion, by all means.
from the back, Phil killed everybody, and Phil's arms are way better than Sean's Roden's arms.
Yeah.
And the density, Phil has more density than Sean, I mean. And just the when he moves around, maybe he had a problem with his belly there.
Yeah.
But that's one thing for me. Even though I don't like the belly, I like Sean's look more. Yeah. I think Phil Heath was way better bodybuilder that day.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
that's my opinion. Like, and I know that Phil lately has been online. Has been like, I don't know if he's taking the loss the best way. That's not my place to say that or not. But all the bullshit aside, all the drama aside, I think Phil Heath, should have won. Yes, people would have booed.
Yeah.
But I think that Phil Heath was better than Sean that day.
Yeah.
Nothing against Sean. And for real, I think a lot of people would rather look like Sean was looking with the waist and stuff, Yeah. Imagine if you had Sean Roden's waist on Phil Heath's physique.
Good Lord.
that would be another 4 years in a row for Phil, right?
4, 5, 10 years, who knows?
Oh, yeah. So, but for real, like just this side chest and everything, the way Phil was moving, you could see like real dense muscle.
Right.
And there was no pop, no crazy striations in the Sean Roden's physique.
Yeah.
If you really look closely, if you look far away and you kind of like put your eyes like that, Sean Roden's silhouette is way better.
Yeah, yeah.
If you look up close and you try to look for the density and the striations, Phil Heath, I believe, had more of that.
Yeah.
But then again, personally for me, it's better for Sean Roden to win because I'm more like him, right? I'm smaller waist, I'm not a big freaky guy yet. So, but in reality, I think Phil Heath, in my opinion, I would have put him ahead than Sean Roden there.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a perfect score. He didn't win with straight first, so clearly the judges didn't all think it was a
But for the sport in general, it's like, holy shit, it creates excitement, right?
Well, I've been to almost every Olympia since 1991, and I've seen many Olympias where Mr. Olympia should not have kept his title. It was, I won't get into specific years and get the guys mad at me, but going by all those precedents from the past, it should have been, Phil would have kept his title if they had kept doing what they've been doing for many years, but they didn't.
Yeah. But now I guess they did that, and I don't know. And it's like that year Frank Zane won or something back in the day. I think people were like, oh, why did he win? There was other guys who were kind of bigger than him or something.
Frank won 3 years in a row. He won.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know the specifics, but yeah. So I think it's good for the sport though, because like for example, like next year, it's not like Sean Roden is unbeatable.
No. Right?
You look at Sean Roden, it's like, oh, okay, like people can beat that.
Right.
So it's like in my head, Mr. Olympia is like I cannot look like that. In my head, it needs to be with that. Ronnie Coleman, I cannot look like this ever.
Right.
So that's a Mr. Olympia for me. Yeah. But Sean Roden's like, okay, I think I'll have better arms than him in a year, in my head,
I mean, if you put on 15 pounds of muscle and keep your small waist, you could be on a similar level to that, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. And that's what I said that's what I meant when I said it's a good thing for me that Sean won.
Right. No, absolutely.
It's good for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, you're more of a Sean Roden type of physique than you are Phil Heath, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Okay, AJ's putting you on the spot here. Who is the greatest Canadian bodybuilder of all time?
Um, Best Canadian bodybuilder of all time. If you go with show wins, it's
Well,
what?
it's your personal opinion. Who do you think was the greatest?
I know, but I'm just saying stuff out there.
Oh,
So
yeah, show wins.
no show wins. Just my favorite one for me.
Sure.
It's a good question.
Henderson Thorne. No, I mean Paul Dillette maybe would be someone people could think of.
Yeah, but I didn't like his posing.
No, his posing was horrible, horrible.
I'm trying to think here.
We're getting more good Canadian
Let's
bodybuilders
name
now.
them. There was Paul Dillette. There was Claude Groux that was there.
Yeah.
There was what's the short guy from in the 80s.
Steve Brisbois.
Steve Brisbois.
Yeah.
There was this guy who was the first. Then after that, Fouad, Ben Polkowski. Now Ian is up there. Bumstead is up there, I guess, even though he's classic.
Antoine, Regan. Yeah.
Regan is for real. Zane.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are pumping. You guys are. I think you're putting out more great pros in the last 10 years than the 40 years combined before that.
Maybe, huh?
No, absolutely.
I'm trying to think. You know, there were some good guys before, really good physiques that were with Muscle Tech.
Right. Yeah.
What was those guys?
I mean, none of them really made it big in the pro.
No, they didn't, but they look really good.
Yeah. All right. Well,
But my favorite Canadian bodybuilder is me.
I mean, that's a great answer. Perfect.
I'm my favorite one.
The last question you can only answer if you were a fan of like pro wrestling, were you?
I was a little bit.
Okay. He wants to know, how did it feel when Bret Hart got screwed in Montreal? I don't even know what she's referring to.
Oh, is it when he was like there was a lot of things. I think it's when he switched to WCW. It was like on the screen WCW. Remember that?
I don't.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan, but people in the comment can explain that.
He's a fanatic. Which fan is short for fanatic. Okay, so I guess I'm going to close it out by asking you. Well, first of all, who else are your sponsors? Who else you want to thank? Sponsors, trainers, anybody that you want to thank?
So I have Redcon One for my supplement sponsor, Ride Aware for clothing and shoes, and Ironbow Strength. They do the belts, they do the straps, and things like that. I've been with them actually for a long time. They're one of my first sponsors, 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been on and up with them. They're guys from Sherbrooke, my town where I was born, and they're getting bigger and bigger every year. They're doing squat racks now and things like that. Eventually, probably machines. So, shout out to them and my Right Aware and Redcon One. I got Boss Meals. It's Todd from here in Hamilton. He gives me the food there, and it's really, the reason why I improve so much. It's all the good food I eat, and he's the one bringing it to me. So I got them, and I also get my food from True Local. They deliver like grass-fed beefs to your door also, so I do them. And other than that, of course, I'm going to thank Dorian Hamilton. Yeah. He's a really good friend, one of the best friends you can have, actually, and he's also a great coach. And mark my word, I think he's going to be the next big IBB coach. You know, coaching a lot of IBB like that. I think I would love for him to do that, to get more big names under his belt, because he's really good. So if anybody who's a pro out there listening, should give him a message, reach out. And, thanks to all my friends around here in Montreal, also my family, my mom, and that's it. Thanks to Ron Harris and MD.
I'm the best. No, you know what? I'm not saying if, I'm saying when you win a show, hopefully next year, that's when everyone's going to come running and go, Dorian Hamilton must be the greatest coach ever. I need all his secrets. Coach me, Dorian. That's how people are.
Yeah, well, I owe Dorian a win then, because he deserves it.
So that's how I'm going to lead to the last question. What do you got in mind for 2019 season? What do you think we're going to see you next?
Toronto again.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing New York, but people said no, don't do it. Well, politics. Too many people do it. And I'm like, okay, then thanks for.
If it was politics, Juan Morel would have beaten Nathan to Asha. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Juan is their boy. Juan trains at Steve's gym.
Yeah,
If it
true.
was politics, it was
Yeah.
close. It would have gone to one.
Because
So
if I would do New York, what I would do if I'm smart, I would before the show there, I would go once or twice in New York, ask Steve for posing tips. Then he would know who I am on stage. He would recognize me.
right. No, I mean, you cut a unique figure. I think everyone knows who you are, but it's a
Yeah.
good idea just to have everybody make the rounds and have everybody know who you are regardless. But
Yeah.
reconsider that. I would think about doing both. They're usually a week or two apart anyway.
I know, right?
So, and it's not
Yeah.
what's it like a 90-minute flight from where you are? Not even.
It's not very long. Yeah, 2 hours.
No,
Not
'cause
even two
you're in
hours.
Toronto. You're in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 90-minute flight from Boston to Toronto. It's got to
Yeah.
can't be much more than that. Maybe 2 hours at the most. It's
Yeah.
not far. You should do it. So
Okay.
no, you have a lot of fans in the U.S. and I know a lot of people were bummed that you didn't do one of the U.S. shows because
Yeah, because I was like tight. I was like, because I held my condition for so long and I really dieted hard, and I was like, you know what? To get another top five, it's not worth it. I should
Right.
just rest
no.
my body and prepare for next year.
Yeah, well, you and Dorian will figure it out. I have no doubt you'll make
Yeah.
the right decisions. So, well, I'll try. I want to talk to you before. Hopefully, I'll talk to you again before your next pro show. But in the meantime, appreciate you taking the time and talking to me and the viewers. Glad to hear you're doing well. You're going to get large, make some improvements. Can't wait to see what you got for us next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, man.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe to the channel here on YouTube if that's where you're watching it. Also check out Antoine's channel. It's called Antoine V, right?
Antoine Vaillant,
Antoine Vi, VAI.
Yeah.
See how crappy my memory is, everybody? So
It's
that's
okay.
it. Keep track of what's going on with us and Antoine, and we'll talk to you later.